Mushrooms have become a popular alternative for those seeking to replace meat in their diet, particularly among vegetarians, vegans, and those on plant-based diets. Their savory flavor, meaty texture, and ability to absorb and enhance other flavors make them a versatile addition to a variety of dishes. Whether sautéed, grilled, roasted, or used in sauces, mushrooms can mimic the texture of meat and serve as a satisfying substitute. However, despite their many advantages, mushrooms are not without their drawbacks, and they may not always provide the nutritional profile or health benefits that meat offers. For those looking to replace meat with mushrooms, it's important to consider some of the potential downsides and limitations. One of the primary concerns with using mushrooms as a meat substitute is their nutritional profile. While mushrooms are rich in certain vitamins and minerals, such as vitamin D, potassium, and B vitamins, they are relatively low in protein compared to animal-based meats. Protein is an essential macronutrient required for muscle repair, immune function, and overall body health, and it is a crucial part of the diet, especially for individuals who rely on meat for their protein needs. Even though mushrooms provide some protein, it is not in the same quantity or quality as the protein found in meat. This means that relying too heavily on mushrooms as a meat replacement may lead to a deficiency in essential amino acids that the body needs for optimal function. For those on a plant-based or low-meat diet, it becomes essential to carefully plan meals to ensure adequate protein intake, but mushrooms alone will not provide enough to meet the daily requirements of a well-balanced diet. Additionally, while mushrooms do offer some health benefits, they do not have the same dense nutritional content as meat. Meat, particularly red meat, is an excellent source of iron, zinc, vitamin B12, and other nutrients that are crucial for overall health. Mushrooms, in contrast, lack significant amounts of these nutrients, especially vitamin B12, which is predominantly found in animal-based products. This can create challenges for those following a vegetarian or vegan diet that relies on mushrooms as a key protein source. Vitamin B12 deficiency can lead to anemia, fatigue, and nerve damage, and since B12 is not found in plant foods, those who avoid meat will need to supplement or find alternative sources of this important nutrient. Without proper supplementation or attention to diet, individuals who use mushrooms as a regular substitute for meat may be at risk of such deficiencies over time. Mushrooms also contain a variety of naturally occurring compounds, such as purines and oxalates, that can pose risks for some individuals. Purines are substances that can break down into uric acid in the body, potentially leading to gout or kidney stones for those who are sensitive or predisposed to these conditions. While most people can consume mushrooms without any issues, those with a history of gout or kidney problems should be cautious about overconsuming mushrooms or other foods high in purines. Similarly, oxalates, which are present in certain types of mushrooms, can interfere with calcium absorption and increase the risk of kidney stones when consumed in excess. While mushrooms are not as high in oxalates as other plant foods like spinach, they can still contribute to kidney issues in susceptible individuals, especially if they are a primary component of the diet. Another important factor to consider is the way mushrooms are often grown and processed. While many mushrooms, particularly varieties like portobello, shiitake, and oyster mushrooms, are cultivated under controlled conditions, they are still prone to contamination by mold, pesticides, or harmful chemicals. Mushrooms are naturally spongy and porous, which means they absorb whatever they come into contact with, including potentially harmful substances in the soil or during the growing process. This means that conventionally grown mushrooms may contain trace amounts of pesticides or other residues that could be harmful if consumed in large quantities. Organic mushrooms are an option, but they can be more expensive and less readily available, especially for individuals looking to consume mushrooms on a regular basis. Additionally, processed mushroom products, such as mushroom-based burgers or sausages, may contain additives, preservatives, or artificial flavorings that reduce their overall healthfulness. The texture of mushrooms, which many people love for its meat-like quality, can also be a downside in certain dishes. While mushrooms have a satisfying, meaty bite when cooked, they may not always mimic the true texture of meat, especially for those who are used to the chewiness and density of beef, chicken, or pork. Mushrooms tend to shrink significantly during cooking, which can make them less filling and satisfying when used as a substitute for meat in large portions. Additionally, their texture may not always appeal to everyone. Some people find the spongy, fibrous texture of certain mushrooms off-putting, which can make them less desirable as a primary meat replacement. While they may work well in some recipes, mushrooms may not offer the same hearty, robust texture that many people crave when eating meat-based meals. Furthermore, the environmental impact of mushroom production, while often considered more sustainable than meat farming, is not entirely without concern. Growing mushrooms requires a specific type of substrate or growing medium, which is often made from agricultural waste, sawdust, or other organic materials. While this can be more sustainable than the resource-intensive farming of livestock, the cultivation of mushrooms still has an environmental footprint. For example, large-scale mushroom farming can lead to the depletion of resources like water and land, and the disposal of spent mushroom substrates can create waste management issues. Additionally, the transportation and packaging of mushrooms, especially when they are grown in distant regions, can contribute to carbon emissions and other environmental concerns. While mushrooms may be a more eco-friendly option compared to meat, they are still part of the broader food production system that can have negative environmental impacts. Lastly, mushrooms can be quite challenging to digest for some individuals. The fibrous structure of mushrooms can be difficult for certain people to break down, leading to bloating, gas, or stomach discomfort. While most people can consume mushrooms without issue, those with sensitive digestive systems or underlying gastrointestinal conditions, such as irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, may experience adverse effects when consuming mushrooms in large quantities. The presence of certain sugars, such as mannitol, in mushrooms can also contribute to digestive discomfort, making them a less suitable option for individuals with food sensitivities or digestive issues. In conclusion, while mushrooms offer a flavorful and versatile option for those seeking to replace meat in their diet, they come with a number of considerations and potential drawbacks. Their low protein content, lack of essential nutrients like vitamin B12, and the presence of anti-nutrients like purines and oxalates can make them less ideal as a primary meat replacement. The potential for contamination with pesticides or harmful chemicals, the challenges of achieving the same texture as meat, and the environmental and digestive concerns all contribute to the limitations of mushrooms as a staple food in a plant-based or meat-free diet. While mushrooms can certainly be enjoyed in moderation and as part of a varied diet, they should not be relied upon as a sole or primary substitute for meat without careful attention to nutritional balance and potential health risks.